Rain hammered the windshield, relentless and angry. Thunder cracked overhead, shaking the car. On a lonely highway, the luxury sedan spun out, slamming into the guardrail. Metal shrieked, glass shattered, and then silence. Arthur Vance, powerful CEO, was trapped. His phone was dead, rain leaking through the shattered sunroof. Every passing headlight was a fading hope. Out here, he was just another person in trouble. Then, a light. A single flashlight beam cut through the darkness. Someone was out there, walking toward the wreck. Not a cop, just a guy who stopped. Hope flickered in the storm. Help had finally arrived. The man reached the driver's side window, peering in with concern. "Hey, you okay in there?" he shouted over the storm. Arthur nodded, unable to speak. The stranger ran to his truck, grabbed a crowbar, and wedged it into the door. Metal groaned as he fought the twisted steel, rain soaking him to the bone. He didn't stop. With a final screech, the door popped open. "Your leg's stuck bad," the man said. "This is gonna hurt." He worked the crowbar, freeing Arthur's leg. Agony shot up Arthur's body. But then, relief. "Come on, we gotta move. Now." The stranger dragged Arthur from the car. They stumbled away just as orange flames flickered under the hood. 20 yards away, the car erupted in fire. Heat washed over them, a stark contrast to the cold rain. They collapsed on the wet asphalt, staring at the inferno. Arthur looked at the stranger, illuminated by the flames. "You saved my life," he whispered. The man nodded, helping him to his feet. No words, just action. The storm still raged, but Arthur was alive. The stranger had risked everything for a man he didn't know. In the chaos, a single act of courage had made all the difference. Hope, in the form of a stranger, had pulled Arthur from the fire. The stranger helped Arthur to the roadside, away from the blaze. Sirens wailed in the distance, help finally on the way. Arthur, shaking from adrenaline and cold, turned to his rescuer. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ben," the man replied simply. He looked back at the burning car, then at Arthur, tired, not seeking praise. The sirens grew louder, red and blue lights flashing. Ben's job was done. "Ben, I owe you everything. Let me give you something." Arthur fumbled for his wallet, but it was gone. He had nothing to offer. When he looked up, Ben had vanished into the night. Paramedics rushed over, wrapping Arthur in a blanket. Arthur scanned the darkness. "Where did he go?" he asked. No one had seen the man in the pickup truck. It was as if Ben was a ghost, a guardian angel sent by the storm. All that remained was a name, Ben, and a debt that felt impossible to repay. The fire burned behind him, but Arthur's thoughts were on the man who disappeared. Sometimes, the greatest heroes leave no trace. 5 years later, the storm on the highway felt like a lifetime ago. Arthur Vance was a changed man. He'd sold his company and started the Vance Foundation, focused on second chances. Mechanics, welders, electricians, people who worked with their hands, people like the man who saved him. Arthur spent years searching for Ben, but the trail was cold. His new work became his way of paying forward the kindness he'd received. Every life his foundation touched was a small repayment. Success was now measured in hope, not dollars. Arthur interviewed many candidates himself, looking for the same determination he'd seen that night. Today, he was interviewing for a lead mechanic at a vocational school. The next candidate's name was Istya, Ben Carter. Arthur sat in his modest office, rain tapping at the window. The memory of that night was never far away. He wondered if he'd ever find the man who changed his life. The door was about to open on a new chapter. The past and present were about to collide. Arthur took a deep breath, ready for whatever came next. The storm outside was gentle, but inside, anticipation built. Sometimes, fate brings people full circle. Today felt like one of those days. The interview was about to begin. The door opened, and a man in his late 40s entered. Calloused hands, quiet confidence. Arthur recognized him instantly. It was Ben. Arthur's breath caught. "Ben?" he whispered. Ben looked confused, not recognizing Arthur. "Yes, sir. Ben Carter, here for the mechanic instructor position." Arthur shook his hand, the grip familiar and strong. He tried to compose himself, proceeding with the interview. They discussed Ben's work history, his passion for teaching, his belief in second chances. "Why help people?" Arthur asked. Ben paused. "A little kindness goes a long way. You never know how helping someone might change a life. Or yours." The words hung in the air. Arthur's voice trembled. 5 years ago, on Highway 87, a man pulled me from my burning car. Ben's eyes widened as recognition dawned. He was looking at the man he had saved. The past rushed back, unspoken but undeniable. Two lives, forever linked by a single act of courage. The interview room was silent, the storm outside echoing the moment. Arthur and Ben sat across from each other, both changed by that night. Fate had brought them together again. The circle was nearly complete. Sometimes, destiny waits for the right moment. This was that moment. Ben stared at Arthur, speechless. He remembered the crash, the fire, the fear. "That was you," Ben said quietly. "I'm okay because of you," Arthur replied, gratitude in his voice. Ben reached into his pocket and pulled out a scratched gold watch. "I think this is yours," he said, placing it on the desk. Arthur stared at the watch. His father's. Thought lost in the fire. In that moment, both men understood the true value of what had happened. The past was no longer a burden, but a bond. The lesson was clear. Kindness endures. Arthur picked up the watch, running his thumb over the scratched crystal. It was a symbol of everything lost and gained. He looked at Ben, the man who'd saved his life and returned a piece of his past. "The job is yours, Ben, if you want it." Ben smiled, genuine and warm. "I'd like that very much." It was more than a job offer. It was the closing of a circle. Two men from different worlds, brought together by fate. Ben's courage inspired Arthur's legacy of compassion. Now, Arthur gave Ben the chance to change lives, one student at a time. They had saved each other, in different ways. As they shook hands, the rain outside fell harder, but now, it sounded cleansing. Even in the darkest storms, a single act of kindness can light the way. What we do for others ripples outward, touching lives in ways we can't predict. On a rainy day in October, a debt was repaid, not with money, but with purpose. Two destinies, finally and fully intertwined. The storm had passed, but its lesson remained. Sometimes the greatest gifts are the ones we give each other, and sometimes a second chance is all it takes to change the world.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.